Who in God's name needs a weapon with 100 rounds in a chamber? We just remember who we are, and we're not the victim, and although we're good folks, we got to stand up and holler. We got to stand up and holler. Ban pride flags from flying on public lands. Who the hell? Oh. Not very presidential. I'm not joking. You lose your job, you get beat up, you got the whole different circumstance. Well, I tell you what, I've been here every time you invited me. Be careful, I'm like a poor relative. I show up when I'm invited. I've told the story before, but telling it again. I was raised by a man who was a really decent, honorable man. I remember he was dropping me off. I wanted to be, I wanted to work in the projects as a lifeguard on the east side of Wilmington. And he was dropping me off on his way to work at the city hall to go get an application to be a lifeguard there. And as I got out of the car at the four corners of the center of town, two men, turns out one going to the Brandywine, one was at work for the DuPont company, the other worked for Hercules company. This is back when I was a kid. And they leaned up and kissed one another. And I'd never seen that before. And I turned and looked at my dad, and he just looked at me and said, "Joey, it's simple. It's simple, Joey. They love one another." You've heard me say it before, and I apologize for having to repeat it. When a person can be married in the morning and thrown out of a restaurant for being gay in the afternoon, something is still fundamentally wrong in this country. And that still exists. We made human rights for LGBT around the world a top priority in my foreign policy. Increasing our assistance to brave activists on the ground, defending human rights in countries that passed anti-gay laws like Uganda, going after Uganda, making clear that they cannot have the same benefit.
Do you have an estimate on how many American citizens are trying to leave Israel right now?
I don't have an estimate. As you just heard from the Admiral, we announced the charter that the state is going to be running. Just don't have any intel. And you know, the commercial flights are still ongoing in Israel, so there are opportunities for folks to leave. I just don't have any number for you.
Karine, UAW has expanded their strike. Obviously, we're 4 weeks into this now. How concerned is the White House about getting a resolution and potential economic impacts?
So look, we're going to monitor this very, very closely, this situation, certainly the economic impacts. But look, the president says this all the time. You hear me say this all the time. We respect unions, their right to use their option for collective bargaining. We believe that works when both sides come together and negotiate and come together. In this instance, there are multiple sides and come together in good faith to get a win-win agreement. And that's what we want to continue to see. We're not going to talk about specific tactics or the specifics in negotiations, but certainly we're going to continue.